Today, is it okay? Yeah, that's good. I tried to use this one this time. So today I'm gonna have some illustration with regards to. Where's that one? Hello. Hello. Grace. Praise God. Feedback. How's it? It's good. Good now? Okay. So the verse that I would like to share to you today is found in Isaiah chapter 42. But before I'm going to share that verse, our topic today is about the power of death and resurrection. So, what is it all about the death and resurrection? So, let me just give you understanding first about how did the death become powerful? Like about talking about the death. So, when you see in the verse, another verse was saying like, death has no power at all. Death has no power at all. But how do we know that death is like become powerful and then the resurrection become powerful? As the verse that we have is the power of death and resurrection. So remember when the first fall of mankind, the Garden of Eve, when God said to Adam, you can eat everything, you can do everything except this. But the day you eat this, you will surely die. So you will say, when you say about die, about death, so how did it correlate to the resurrection of Jesus Christ or the death of Jesus Christ? So first, there was a death created already. In the Garden of Eve. The only problem is death has no power when there's no sin. When there was sin, death has power. But without sin, death was there. Just like according to the Bible, it says the law of sin and the law of death. So let's understand what's the law of death. So back then, death was there. But when the man tried to have a rebellion, we had sin, the death has power away. But before that, death was there. We can see that one at in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 56. Better mic. So it says here, it's just like a bee. The bee. Okay, the sting of death is the sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So, if there's no sin, death has powerless. Nothing. It's just death. Can overcome. But when there's sin, it become powerful. It become alive. So there's a death coming in already. Because it's just death was there. And who activated the death? It's a human. When they try to rebel God, when they try to have sin is about rebellion, try to disobedience. When they disobey God, that's the start. Become death. Death has the power now. Death has no power if there's no sin. But if there's sin, that become it's activated. So I'm gonna have a volunteer. Maybe I need 4 people. And who wants to volunteer? Volunteer? Volunteer 4? Let's have a volunteer. Let's have an illustration. I'm gonna give you this an example, right? So you're gonna be better. I want you to understand. And how is how this death correlates to the resurrection, right? So Nash, you here, and Ivy, where's Gwen? And I was thinking already of who's gonna be.
here.
Oh, Daisy, come here, Daisy. Who else? Gwen is here?
Outside.
Outside? Oh, she's helping us.
Si Johan.
Johan, okay, Johan. Yeah, Johan. So Johan, you're voluntold. Okay.
Voluntold.
Okay. So I want you to stay here. Nash will sit down. So Nash. Okay. So Nash is the scene. Okay. And then Johan will be the Adam. So he'll be here. Adam. Okay. And Tinsi will be the she will be the dead, okay? So for example, she will be the dead. Okay. And then Ivy will be the Satan, okay? Just for the that's okay. Just for illustration only. Okay. So when Adam, was it Adam, right? So Adam was walking in the garden, okay, in the garden, and then Satan was asking about, hey, don't you know that death is about this, about that? And then suddenly, Adam took the apple, grab it. Okay, so when he grabbed it, the sin starts already because he tried to rebel God. God said, you can eat anything except the tree of life and good and knowledge of evil. But when he tried to disobey Adam, disobeyed God about that, now the sin, or you the dead, who's the dead? The dead become powerful. So now, he accomplished together with Adam now. Become powerful because of the sin. Let's think of it, the law of death and the law of sin. Actually, the death is nothing. When people are dying, they can die because it's okay, it's a meeting with God. But because he disobeyed God, death has a power right now. Thank you so much. So death has become powerful because of the sin. But in the Bible, in Isaiah chapter 42, I want you to take a look at chapter 42. Okay, so chapter 32, and the verse of it says, "Here's my servant, whom I uphold, my chosen one, in whom I delight. I will put my spirit on him, and he will bring justice to the nation. He will." So after the death, God said, talking to a human being, saying that the day you eat, you will surely die. He is the one saying that the human will die. You will surely die. Now, God loves human being. He doesn't want it to die. So what did he do? What did he do? He sent his son. As he says on the verse thing here is, "I will put my spirit on him, and he will bring justice to the nation. He will not shout out or cry out or raise his voice in the streets. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not snuff out. In faithfulness he will bring forth justice." So he will give justice. "He will not falter or be discouraged till he establishes justice on earth." Until he establishes justice on earth. He was foretold already in Isaiah that he will not falter, be discouraged, still establish the justice on earth. The justice on earth. The living. Later on, I'll show you later on, not only the earth, even below the earth. Later on. So, let's continue. He who created, this is what God, where's it? He will not falter, discourage, establish justice on earth. And His law in the island will put their hope. This is what God, Lord, says. He who created heavens and stretched them out to spread on earth and all that comes out of it. So, the law of sin, when we get sin, when the Adam gets sin, give birth to the law of death. So, nagkaroon ng buhay ang death. So, naging reality na yung death. Supposedly, the death is just there. But it says, the sting of death is sin. When we got sin, when Adam got sin, death become alive. Okay? Death is powerless if there's no sin. Now, let's take a look on Hebrews 2, chapter 2, verse 14. 14 to 15. Okay. So here, since the children are sharers in flesh and blood, He also Himself, in like manner, partook of the same, that through death He might bring to know Him that had the power of death, that is the devil, and might deliver all them who through fear of death were all their lifetime subject to bondage. So, everyone was out of fear of having death. Because everyone, when Adam got sin, everyone will die. Everyone will die. And how are we going to overcome that one? You can't. And the only person, nagkatawang tao, is only Jesus Christ. So, in order to pass by the death, what happened? So he partook the same that took death. What happens here? Before that, I'd like you to read on Hebrews 9, verse 27. What does it say on Hebrews 9, chapter 9, verse 27? Just as people die. So you have it there. Just as people as destined to die. Hebrews 9. Okay, Hebrews 9, verse 27. It says here, just as man is destined to die once. Oh, there you go. And as much it is appointed unto man once to die. You're gonna die once. And after this, judgment. So you're only gonna die once, and then judgment will come. Right? So everyone, everyone, we're gonna die. Regardless, you are rich, you are poor, you have so many things in life, everyone will have to face death. It says in the Bible. It says in the Bible. But it says here, when we die, what did Jesus say? When he foretold that He's coming and He will fulfill that law, He didn't come just to die. In order for death has no power, what are we going to take it off? We have to take off the sin. coming to the earth, it's not about to have died. It's to take off the sin. Because if you take off the sin, death is powerless. Amen? Death is powerless. So, He came let's take a look on Romans 5. Romans 5 verse 18 to 19. Romans 5. Therefore, as by offense of one judgment came upon all men condemnation, even so by righteousness of one a free gift came upon all men unto justification of life. For as by one man's disobedience many were made sinners, so by the obedience of one shall be made righteous. It clearly says, by just the disobedience of one, which is Adam, right? He rebelled God. God said, do not eat this one, but he disobeyed. He ate it. And now, the death has power. It used to be no, but because of sin, now death has a power. Now what are you going to do? Condemnation, even so by the righteousness of one free gift came upon all men unto justification of life. For as by one man's disobedience, many were made sinners. So naging makasalanan lahat by just one. And so by the obedience of one shall many be made righteous. So it has to be, so the plan of God has to be, there should be one person that can obey. There should be one person in order to take up the sinner, it has to be one person. And which is Jesus Christ. He was foretold coming in. Right? So when Jesus Christ came in, He didn't came just to die. He came in to what? He came in, the purpose is to take out that sin. As you remember the Hebrews, it says about us also a partaker. So He partake it. When He partake it, now He take all the sin. Now the death has no power, so you can be resurrected. Now the power of death and the power of resurrection. So the power of death before is powerless. But because of disobedience, because of rebellion, because of sin, it became life. Now, He sent Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was the atonement of the sin. He was the lamb that was slain. Before, when they got sin, they offer sacrifices. The lamb, a healthy sheep, they offer sacrifices to the Lord. But still not enough. So what is the best one that's offering? In order for that sin will be gone. So, I'd like you to open your Bible in Isaiah 53, 4 to 10. Isaiah 53, 4 to 10. Okay. Surely He had borne our griefs and carried sorrows, yet He did esteem Himself stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But wounded for our transgression, bruises for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace upon Him, and with His stripes we are healed. So, ang dami, no? Kumbaga sa can you imagine? We're supposed to die. And then inako niya lahat. supposed to die. Can you imagine when someone someone's you are in the bingit na sabihin ka ng kamatayan, no? And then someone helped you, and you got restored. Hindi ba magkakaroon ka ng utang ko sa'yo, ang aking buhay, habang buhay? Parang gano'n, di ba? Same here. We're supposed to die. But what He did, He carried our sorrows. Yet He did stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But He wounded of our transgressions, bruises for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace upon Him, and with His stripes we are healed. Continue verse. We all like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on Him iniquities of all of us. He was oppressed, okay? And He was afflicted, yet He opened not His mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before his shearer is dumb, so He opened not His mouth. He was taken from a prison and from judgment, and who shall declare His generation? For He was cut off out of the land of the living. Out of the land. I want you to take a look. Out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people was He stricken. In verse 9, and He made His grave with the wicked and with the rich in His death, because He had done no violence, neither deceit from His mouth. In verse 10, yet it is pleased the Lord to bruise Him. Wow. The Lord pleases. It pleases the Lord. When Jesus Christ was all suffering, it pleases Him. I don't know about you, but having that, instead of you dying on that, and have Jesus Christ, sinalug niya lahat, man, that's something that you owe to Him for life. You owe to Him like forever. He says about here, when thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see sin. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of the Lord shall prosper in His hand. Where can you find a person, a human being where alam niya na papatayin na siya, pero He still blesses it? I will bless the offspring, He shall see the seeds of it. After it's going to be happening, I will see the seeds of it. And the power of death become when there's a atonement, when there's a sacrificial, which is Jesus Christ. But here's one thing, Satan was asking, so if you would be the sacrifice, and yet you were not sinners, she's blameless, right? So how can he's a sacrifice? Kasi dapat kung isa-sacrifice siya, he has to be a sinner. But he's not a sinner. So how can you qualify it? How can we justify it? Because for the wages of sin is death, right? So kailangan mamatay. So, what He did is, inakop niya lahat ng kasalanan. Kahit kung hindi pa ang kasalanan, inakop niya. And you know what happened? When yung inakop niya yung lahat ng kasalanan? This is the verse the Bible says on Matthew 27. I'd like you to take a look on this in Matthew 27. Okay. I'd like you to take a look on Matthew 27. Ito yung pagkamatay niya. On verse 51. was a sacrificial lamb. So he died. And then in order for him to be qualified for that, he has to take all the sins. So when he took all the sins, the day that he mentioned it, it says here on verse 51, I want you to pay. Okay, it's here. At the moment, the curtain of temple was torn into two from the top to bottom. The earth shook and rocks split. Can you imagine that one? Imagine nyo na lang, lumilindol. And then the rock split. Okay, let's go through. The earth shook and the rock split. The tombs broke open. And the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. So, when there's a power of, when Jesus Christ was the one, a sacrificial lamb, when he took all of the sins and he became a sacrifice, there's something happened. On that day, in that moment, the torn, it was shaking, lumindol, and even the tomb was open. And what it says in the verse, continue, let's continue. The tomb broke open. Kasi nga, di ba? You have to die. But in order for you to resurrect it, it has to be, you have to take out the sin. Because if the sin is still there, you cannot resurrect. Because the sin is holding it back. The sin is holding the dead. It's the sin is holding the dead. But when Jesus Christ take out all the sin, what happened? The earth shook and the rock split. The tomb broke open, and the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. So see Moses, see Abraham, and all the people that were dead before. What happened? They've been raised up, raised to life. They came out of the tomb, and what happened? They came out of the tomb, and after Jesus' resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many people. So the Old Testament, before they sacrifice land, sacrifice everything, it's nothing. But when we sacrifice Jesus Christ, there's something happening. When people died, before in the Old Testament, when Jesus came, he would rise up. The Bible clearly says that they went to the holy city. That was like a, wow, that's the power of death and the power of resurrection. The power of resurrection is when he was resurrected, a lot of people from the Old Testament was also raised. The tomb were broken, and the bodies of many holy people who had died were raised to life. They came out from the tomb, and after Jesus' resurrection, they went into the holy city and appeared to many people. Amen. So, my message today is about, if you are not in Christ, chances are, I don't know where you're going to go. But if you are in Christ Jesus, surely it says, you go to the heaven. Surely it says, there was a holy city. Surely it says in the Bible. Only Him, when He took all our sins or our iniquities, there was a curtain torn out. The tomb was open. Napakalain mo tomb mabubuhay yung no. The Bible says about it. Like, you know, the way how we take it, bumukas ang mga libingan, ganun ba yun? Di ba? So, if you can imagine, ganun na nangyari. And all the living, all the dead, went to the holy of cities. So the only way, yung sinabi nga nila is, well, he said it about in the words, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except by me. So the only we can go to heaven is accepting Jesus as personal Savior and God. And the death has no power if there's no sin. The sin was forgiven. The sin was taken up because of the sacrificial lamb. The lamb that was slain and it was given. Jesus Christ. So the power of death, does become, how do you analyze, like, how do you become the power of death? There's a power of death when there's a sin. But if there's no sin, death has no more power. You can overcome it. You die, you can go to heaven. Because what? Because you have Jesus Christ in your life. But if you don't have it, I don't know how it's going to be like after. Clearly says in Hebrews 9 says, you will die once and the judgment came. You will die once and the judgment. There will be judgment after. So I don't know where you're going to go. But if you are sure about your faith in the Lord, about your faith in Jesus Christ, these things will happen to you. Imagine that. He opened the tombs. It was shaking, like, I was reading this verse, like, wow, ikaw na lang ma-amaze ka, diba? Ganun na nangyari. Nung inako niya yung kasalanan natin, na supposedly we were about to die, when inako niya, even the dead will rise up and they go to the holy city. Amen? That means only Him can overcome death. So that's the reason why we have the resurrection. When the resurrection is, the power of resurrection is when Jesus Christ was resurrected. That is only seal that really God is like nothing can compare about Him. Like He is the one. For some of our religions, Jesus Christ is only the prophet. Jesus Christ is only a wise man. For Buddha, Jesus Christ is only like something like reincarnated, something like that. But for us, when He asked about Simon before, now it's not Peter. When He asked, sino ba talaga ako sa'yo? Sino ba ako? Ano ka alam mo? Sabi niya, you are Son of God, the Son of the living God. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Yun ang sinabi ni Simon na naging Peter. Tinawag siya ngayon ng Peter. Because yung ibang disciple, tinanong niya, ano ba ako sa inyo? Sabi niya, you are like a prophet from Moses, sabi na. But when he asked Simon, used to be Simon and now Peter's his name. Sinabi ni Simon, sinabi ni Peter, you are the Christ. You are the Son of the living God. So only Him. Only Him. So my dear brothers and sisters, the death, the power of death and resurrection. There's a really meaning of that in our lives. If Jesus wasn't there to take off instead of our sin, all of us, we're still gonna be in the death. Even in death, you're still gonna stay there. There's no way that after judgment, I don't know where you're gonna go. But because the plan of God is, He doesn't want the man to die. He offered His only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in Him will not perish, but have everlasting life. Wow! Will not perish, will not just stay there. Didn't Moses and Elijah, Abraham, everything did not stay there. When the curtain was torn, he was raised up. But before that, it wasn't happening, right? When you sacrifice lamb, nothing. But when Jesus Christ is sacrificial lamb, there's a great power in that one. There's a great power in His resurrection. And that He can overcome death over life. Amen? Shall we all rise up? Shall we bow down our head? And I want you to offer a prayer to the Lord. And thank Him for everything that He has done. Thank Him that supposedly, we are the one to die. Supposedly, we are the one to be suffered. Supposedly, we are the one to be beaten. Supposedly, we are the one to be punished. But because of His great love to us, His great love to mankind, He offered His only begotten Son, which is Jesus Christ, for the atonement of our sins. That you can live freely, that you can live in His just offer a prayer to the Lord. Let's be grateful for how the things, if you can remember how He suffered in that cross. Oh, we should be grateful for those things. Only Jesus Christ that died, and on the third day He rose again to overcome death, or to let us show to mankind, not only in the earth, also in the dead. For clearly it says in the Word that even the tomb was open, and all the dead rise, went to the holy city. If God is talking to you right now, I want you to open your heart. Allow Him to work in your life, to enter in your life. He can do in behalf of you. Oh, hallelujah. Thank you so much, God. We are so grateful. Oh, hallelujah. Thank you so much, Lord, for dying for us. We have life, Lord. But we will not perish, or we will not stay on that death. But instead, we will have that everlasting life. Just continue in the manner of worship to the Lord. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Lord. delivered to you. The Lord Jesus, on the night when he was betrayed, took bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it, and said, "This is my body, which is for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Shall we partake the bread? In the same way, also he took the cup after supper, saying, "This cup is a new covenant in my blood. Do this as often as you drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and eat this cup, you proclaim the Lord's death until he comes." Shall we pray? Father in heaven, we thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for your love for us. Father, as we continue, Lord God, to worship you, to praise you, Lord, help us to be a person that you want us to be. Lord, we open our hearts, we open our mind. You alone, Lord God, will be the Lord in our lives. Lord, continue to work. As we minister, Lord God, as we go on, Lord God, our fellowship, congregation. Father, we're so grateful and thankful for your Son, Jesus Christ. Lord, we acknowledge that we are nothing, Lord, apart from you. And we declare, Lord God, you are the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. Help us, Lord, to understand more, deep, Lord God, better understanding, Lord God, as we study your words, meditate your words, Lord, as we continue to praise and worship you. Oh, thank you, Lord. Oh, by your grace, Lord, by your grace, we've been saved. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Bring back to you all the glory, praise and adoration. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen. Amen. Give mighty God.
Let us pray. Our great and heavenly Father, we enthrone you. We bless you, Lord God, for your word, Lord God. Thank you for the favor of God that we can call you our Abba Father. Blessed be your name. Blessed be your name, O Lord. Your name is good. Let your name be glorified, O God. Father, we thank you for this time that we have gathered here. Thank you, Father God, for nabubusog na naman po kami sa spiritual na pagkain. And we thank you so much, O God, for using Pastor Ryan in an instrument to give us the message for today. Continue to bless him, O Lord God. Continue to give him more wisdom, O Lord, as he leads with the class here at Calgary. I pray even to continually bless also Pastor Vic. And I pray, Father God, that you will continually deal with him, especially in the spiritual needs of the family. We ask you, Lord God, to bless each one. And we thank you, heaven for the life of everyone that is here at home. I pray, Father God, that we will not go home empty-handed. I pray, Father God, that the Spirit will be with them. And I pray, Father God, that you are going to continue to be with them. And I pray, Father, for your Holy Spirit to be with us as we depart from this place and bring us safely and sound to each of our destinations. We give you all the glory and honor in Jesus' name. Amen.